Hello, hello, everyone. How is everybody doing on this beautiful Wednesday evening? Hopefully, everybody's doing good. Keith, how are you doing?
I'm doing better. I mean, I'm still a little sad because I'm off my cruise for I know it's been over a week. It took me about like a week to recover because like I've been on a cruise where okay I'm good in 2 days, but this was like one of those cruises where you had such a great time that it took me a whole week just to like recover. Like the whole week I was
Oh
like
my!
I'd be like, oh my god, right now I'd be at the leader, right now I'd be doing this.
I tell you, when once you go on those longer than 8 day cruise, you'll be like, what?
And the crazy thing, it was an 8 day cruise, right? It was a Saturday to a Sunday, but it didn't feel like 8 days. It felt like it was like 2 weeks. That's how it felt
Yeah,
to me.
yeah, because you usually probably used to going from Saturday to Saturday. Next thing you know, you have an extra day to enjoy.
The only time I got the extra day was I was on the NCL gym and we were in the hurricane. That was my first cruise, so we got stuck
Oh
in the ocean.
wow!
We got stuck in the ocean for an extra day, but I actually looked the one time on NCL. They didn't give me credit for that extra day, but and I, I I'm not gonna call them up now about a cruise I took 15 years ago. You never gave me credit for it.
Oh my God. You might be able to probably if you could find the booking number, they should be able to hook it up.
Oh
You
my!
never know.
I mean, I wasn't because they only gave me credit for 7 days, not the 8 days.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, it does to me. It's only one day. It was one day.
Look, one day could get you to platinum.
Oh yeah, and we are now gold on Carnival. So
Hey. Yeah, on Carnival, I have like maybe two more cruises to be diamond. And then on Royal, I think I have three to be diamond because I'm platinum right there. And then Holland, I still got a ways to go. Norwegian, I got ways to go. And then I have, I think it's elite right now on celebrity. So,
okay.
but let me welcome in everybody that's on the chat real quick. First up in the chat is Nancy. Hello, Mama Nancy. How are you? Welcome in. Hi, Cruise Nuts. Welcome in. Cruise Nuts, keep an eye on your package. So hello, Cruise Nuts, and hi, Margot. Welcome in, Margot. How are you? So yeah, it's just been a crazy week. At least for me, it has been a crazy week.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I had a live stream set up for yesterday. If maybe some of you guys follow the channel, I actually moved the live stream to next Tuesday. Reason being, I was in the hospital for the last 2 days, but everything is all good. So I'm thankful for that. And I'm here right now. So we're moving forward. Thank you so much for being here, Josephine. Thank you so much for being here. If you are a celebrity elite, you can match on Royal. That's right. If you're a celebrity elite, you can match to Royal as a diamond. So yeah, Royal got that new match thing that whatever you are on Royal, you're gonna be on celebrity. But I've been elite on celebrity for a long, long time. And I guess if I'm going on Royal, actually I'm going on Royal. So you're right, Margot. I could be a diamond on Royal because I've been elite over there. So I travel more celebrity. That's probably why. So, okay, so for those of you that know, Keith just got back from his long cruise, his 8 day cruise. So now he's trying to get everything situated and back to his normal status. Hello,
Yeah,
Miss
last week,
Joanne.
a week. Yep. But when one cruise ends, another countdown starts. I think I have 109 days. Yeah, because
And
Friday
those will
will be
go as
107. So
fast
yeah,
as this
109
other
days.
cruise went.
Oh, and I'm going on a celebration this time. But the one
Ooh,
thing I'm also looking forward to is we're actually staying at a resort in Hollywood. It's called the Diplomat by Hilton, something like that. So
okay,
they got like humongous pools. It's a really beautiful resort, and
okay.
I was like, wow. So we're actually gonna stay there on Friday night, and then on Sunday morning we're gonna fly back.
Oh my God, look who is in the house. No, look at, do you see that? Yo, yo, yo is in the house. Thank you so much for being here, Eddie. Haven't seen you in a while, but thank you so much for being here with us
Really,
today. Yeah,
well, thank you
hopefully,
for joining
please,
in.
I
Oh,
know, say
everybody.
hi to Alice. Somebody's here that want to say
Yeah,
hi. Come
definitely.
here.
We miss her.
Say hello to everybody. This is my grandson Kingston.
Hey,
We're doing another
Kingston.
vlog, right, Kingston? When are we doing it? On Saturday? Animal Kingdom, right? So Kingston and I we going into Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom on Saturday, and hopefully it's not raining so that Kingston and I can do a vlog. All right, Kingston, I got to do something here, and you can come back later, okay? Um, oh, she's still working. Okay, whenever you see her, she comes back. Tell her that I give her a big hug and say hello to Miss Alice for me. All right, so let's start this show today. We have a good show. We have actually, we have, how would you say it, Keith? We have somebody that's coming into the show, but virtually, you can say. So one
It's
of
a
Keith's,
pre-recording, I guess.
mhm. So Keith, since you know this person, go ahead and
Yeah, it's a
talk a little bit about him.
pre-recording. Well, obviously, everybody knows what he does. He helps people get on cruises because he does that. What's that? That foundation. Um, Down on the cruises, he sent us a video because we're talking about the port of actually Sydney, Australia. So everybody knows. Talk about the port of Sydney, Australia, and so he did recording because obviously he lives there, but he was unable to attend because obviously right now it's not 8 o'clock at nighttime over here. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning over there. So obviously he does have to work.
Right. So due to the
So
difference in hour, but he was kind enough to do like a little
yeah,
video. And after we done with Keith, is after he's done with the news, we'll play the video for you guys, and we'll thank him for sending us that information.
yeah,
So in the
definitely.
meantime, let's go ahead and start the show with a little bit of the history on the port of Sydney, Australia. All right, guys. So let's talk about the port of Sydney, Australia for today. And this is a great port, to be honest with you. I was looking into the information in Australia and the history about it. And it's actually, let's start. Sydney Harbor, Middle Harbor North, um, and the Lane Cove rivers is the Ria and the natural harbor of Sydney. The harbor is an inlet of the Tasman Sea, part of the South Pacific Ocean. It is location of the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbor Bridge, the location of the first European settlement and colony on the Australian mainland. Port Jackson has continued to play a key role in the history and development of Sydney. In the early days of the colony, was also used as a shorthand for Sydney and the environs those many had back in the time. Describe their specimens as having been collected at Port Jackson. Many recreational events are based on around the harbor itself, particularly Sydney New Year's Eve celebration. So for those of you that have never been to a New Year's celebration at Sydney, it is one to be at least go once in your life because it's a really nice New Year's celebration. There's a lot of different little boats, you can say, or ships that you can pay ahead of time to make a reservation and you can see it from the sea. So it's really nice. So if one day you guys decide this is something that you want to maybe do, check out the New Year's celebration there at Sydney. The harbor is also the starting port of Sydney to the yacht race, the Hobart yacht race that is also taking place there. The waterways of the Port Jacksons are managed by Transport for NSW Sydney Harbor National Park, and it protects a number of islands and foreshore area. swimming spots, tracks, and picnic areas. The harbor is also a global hotspot for marine and other diversity, different things that they have there. A little bit about the history of this area. At the time of the European arrival and the colonization, the land around Port Jackson was inhabited by the Arab clans, including the Wang Gal. The island was stretched along the south side of the Port Jackson for what is now South Head in an arc west present, Darling Harbor. They leave the northern side of the harbor. The area along the southern banks of the river to the Rose Hill belonged to Wangal, and it was inhabited by Port Jackson, Sydney Harbor, south of George River and west of the Parramatta. The Cook's naming of the Port Jackson, the first recorded European discovered the Sydney Harbor, was by Lieutenant James Cook in 1770. Cook names the inlet after Sir George Jackson and one of the Lords Commissioners of the British Administrative. And the judge advocated of the fleets as sailed past the entrance of Sydney Heads. Cook wrote in his journal at noon, where we were about 2 to 3 miles from the land and a bay and a harbor within a pier and safe anchorage, which called the Port Jackson today. One of the first fleets, it was in the 18 years later, Port Jackson saw the arrival of the first fleet on January 21st of 1788. After arriving at the Botany Bay, Governor Arthur Phillip took a longboat and 2 cutters up the coast to the Sound entrance and examines Cook Port Jackson. Philip first stayed overnight at Camp Cove, just inside the South Head, then moved up the harbor on the afternoon of 24th of January. Phillips returned to Sydney Cove in armed tender supply on January 26, 1788, where he established the first colony in Australia, later to become the city of Sydney. In his first dispatch from the colonies back England, Government Phillip noted that. So that's just a little bit of information there. There was also an attack on the Sydney Harbor in 1942. To protect Sydney Harbor from the submarine attack, the Sydney Harbor anti-submarine bomb net was constructed. It spanned the harbor from Green Point, Watson Bay to the battery of George Heads. On the other side of the harbor, on the night of May 31st, 1942, 3 Japanese midget submarines entered the harbor, one which became entangled in the western of the bottom of the net's central section. Unable to free their submarine, the crew detonated charges, killing themselves in the process. A second midget submarine came to grief in Taylor Bay, and two crew committing suicide. The third submarine fired 2 torpedoes at the USS Chicago before leaving the harbor in November 2006. The submarine was found off Sydney's northern beaches. So as you can see, they also had some attacks there in the Sydney Harbor back then. To give you a little bit about the geography of Sydney, the Port Jackson is Drowned River Valley, or RIA, or RIA. It's 19 kilometers long in the area of 55 kilometers to the statuary's volume as high as tide of 562 million cubic meters. The perimeters of the statuary is 317 kilometers. According to the Geographical Name Board of the New South Wales, Port Jackson is a harbor which comprises all water with an imaginary line joining North Head and South Head. Within the harbor lies North Harbor, Middle Harbor, and Sydney Harbor. Port Jackson extends westward from the single entrance known as Sydney Heads. So that's the information there. Let me see. If you want to know about the climate in Port Jackson, has a humid subtropical climate with warm, somewhat humid summers and mild to cool winters, with moderate rainfall spread throughout the year. Due to its exposed proximity to the Tasman Sea It is slightly cooler, wetter, and windier than Observation Hill to the west. So for the months between January, February, March, April, and May, it's when it's a little bit on the you could say on the hotter side, and then from June all the way to August, it's a little bit. It's on like 75 to 83, and then it starts getting hot again from September to the end of the year. So one other thing that the Sydney port has is their bridges. That's one of the cool things that you might want to go check when you see the Sydney Harbor. The Port Jackson is bridged from the north to south by the Sydney Harbor Bridge. And that's one bridge that everybody should go see one day. It's one of their highlights in that port. And we're going to talk about the bridges later on the show as well. Other bridges spanning Port Jackson waterways are Parliament Bridge, spanning Darling Harbor, and the Anzac Bridge, formerly known as the Glebe Island Bridge, spanning Blackwattle Bay, the Iron Cove Bridge spanning in the Iron Cove, and the Spit Bridge spanning Middle Harbor, the Roseville Bridge spanning Middle Harbor, and you have the Tarbin Creek bridges spanning the Tarbin Creek. So those are some of the bridges that are going to be here that you can see in Sydney. Hopefully this information on around the port, brings you a little bit of, kind of like more information and where to go and what to do. In the meantime, let me see. Give me a quick second. Let me see if who else came in new. So we don't have anybody else new. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring you Keith, and he's going to be bringing you the news.
Hello, everybody. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for actually coming to the port of Sydney, Australia. You've seen the background. I am now in Sydney. Last week, I was in the mountains of Alaska. So if you haven't noticed, every week, I'm going to change the background depending on the port that we actually do. So if we're in Hawaii one day, I'll be in Hawaii. So let's get over. Howdy, Holland. Thank you everybody for coming. So let me get to this first story. You can put the picture up on the second story. Okay. So a man has been charged after he allegedly threw furniture and abused two hospitality workers at a cafe in Western Sydney yesterday, which is crazy. So the person just decided to go up there and take the chairs or tables and launch them, right? So the police were called to the cafe on South Street in Granville about 3:30 p.m. after bystanders were forced to restrain the man in the footpath. Officers believe the man walked into the cafe and allegedly threw a table and chairs over without any warning. I mean, sometimes people just do crazy things, and this is one of those stories. Okay, so now we could get up to the next. So you can put this. I lost the story. So, okay, so you can put this picture up. I actually, I just lost the story, but I read most of it. So basically, what happened here, with this one? So you see the train. So basically, the workers are over here are actually going on strike. So they're going on strike to get more money, obviously for workers' benefits and all that. So, I mean, they went on strike. So this is a bad thing. Not a bad thing for workers, a bad thing for the people because the entire, they got tired or most of the rail system shut down for a bit. But the good thing is that they're fighting for their right. So that's something that is very important. You should always, when working, try to get what you're paid for. And this is what these people are trying to do. They're trying to get the money that they deserve because obviously when you see these train fares, which we see in New York all the time, the fares keep going up, and the people working there aren't getting paid, right? Their salaries aren't going up, so that's also not fair for them. Okay, so now and then okay, so we got that one. Now this one I did actually. I've already done a news story about it, and it's funny. I heard about this actually on Across the Waves last week. So that I was a little slow last week with my news in the beginning of the week, but if you haven't, please go watch my news read. But I will give you a brief thing. So as we all know, PO Cruises Australia is set to dissolve in March of 2025. So if you have any, and it's only PO Cruises Australia, don't get confused with the other PO cruises. So if you have any cruises on PO Australia that is after March, at the beginning of March of 2025, your cruise is going to be canceled and you'll get a full refund. But Carnival's going to get 2 of the 3 ships, and nobody knows what's going to happen with the third ship. I'll give you the name of the 2 ships in a minute. The third ship, they're saying that is a possibility it could either be sold or it could be scrapped. So I have another part to actually this news story, which was right here, which I just saw it right now. So we know about that. So Christine, it's something about Christine Duffy, right? So it's error. She said something. Oh yeah. So Duffy said there's a big headwind that helped lead to the decision to absorb PO Australia ships, given higher operation and regular costs, and operating a small brand can move its own vessels out of the region, which is understandable because you never see them go too far with those vessels, but their vessels are tiny. Like these ships are like 70,000, 100,000. I think the other 2 are 100,000. So Carnival's going to be getting Pacific Encounter and Pacific Adventure, and they will be renamed as Carnival Encounter and Carnival Adventure. So they're probably going to do this in 2025. So you figure they're going to do the renovation. So maybe at the end of 2025 or maybe they'll do 1 in 25, 1 in 26. They will probably have inaugural cruises for both, like they did with the Venezia and the Firenze, which Carnival got from their coastal cruise line. So that's something that's interesting, but they're small ships. I mean, they're 100,000 gross tons. So, I'm not a big fan of ships anything under like 130. 130 is like as small as I go because I'm going to go on ships. I want to see a lot of activities. I want to try different specialty restaurants and all that. So these are things I always look for and everything. And yep. So that's it with the news part. Think about you could come back. All right. And once think about
okay, so I don't know, for some I had to reboot my system because for some reason my everything gets stuck over here on my end. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the video so you guys can check it out, and then we're gonna go ahead and talk about this.
And thank you, by the way.
G'day, Keith. G'day, Tinkerbell. How you going? Welcome aboard. Today we're talking about the port of Sydney. Well, what can I say? Sydney is the most iconic port in Australia. Picture the scenario: the ship pulls in at one of two docks. It either pulls in at Circular Quay or it pulls in at White Bay. Now, if it pulls in at Circular Quay, you get off the ship, step forward, and you'll come to an area called Circular Quay. Obviously, it's in a semicircle. Directly in front, at the bow of the ship, are a whole heap of restaurants. To your left-hand side, you've got the Sydney Opera House. To the right-hand side, we've got, as affectionately known as, the Coat Hanger or the Sydney Harbour Bridge. But also to the right-hand side of the ship, we have the Rocks. Now, the Rocks is an amazing place to go and visit because that is originally where Sydney was brought up. So go in and have a look at the Rocks. As well as that, we've got a whole heap of restaurants around. Food is abundant and yummy, I'll tell you now. And not only that, but you've also got Sydney Tower. Now, the Sydney Tower has a revolving restaurant on it, but it's also got an observation deck, so you can go and have a look at that. And if you've got some time and the ability, go to a place called Bondi Beach, the famous Bondi Beach. Go and have a look at that. And then there's also, to the left of Bondi Beach, there's an area called, well, if you're standing on Bondi Beach looking out at the ocean, to the left of Bondi Beach is an area called Dover Heights. And if you go to Dover Heights, you can actually have a look over the cliffs. You see the heads where the ocean meets Sydney Harbour, and you can actually have a look at the ocean plus the heads. Now, it's been known, and I've actually seen it, whales doing their breaching just off the Bondi Dover Heights area. You can actually see them spouting off just a little bit out into the ocean. For other things to do, you could always take a Captain Cook ferry and do the roundabouts of the harbour, go and have a look at various places. And one of the shuttles that you can get is a shuttle that goes from Circular Quay to Taronga Zoo. Taronga Zoo is way across the waters. So if you're looking at the Sydney Harbour Bridge, this side over here is where Circular Quay is. This side over here is where Taronga Zoo is. And so you can go across on a ferry that takes you through to Taronga Zoo. Also, have the opportunity, get on the ferry to Manly. Manly is another beach. It is one of the other iconic beaches of Sydney, also beautiful. If you're feeling courageous enough, climb the Sydney Harbour Bridge. You can get to the top, and the view apparently is unbelievable. Mida Yena. But if you're that way inclined, please go ahead, have a go. Also, if you are docked at White Bay, your ship will go underneath the Sydney Harbour Bridge and heading towards White Bay. Look, you've just got to go there and cruise on it. Lots of gardens within walking distance. There are plenty of Sydney City is right on where Circular Quay is. So you can get to see the Parliament Houses, if you're that way inclined, the Great Synagogue, all the churches. The whole area is steeped in history. I hope you enjoy, and if you've got any further questions, give the Down Under Cruises a buzz. We'll be happy to answer it. Take care. Have a great day.
What a great video.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sean. That's Sean from
That's
Down
right.
Under Cruises, and he's my only friend in Australia.
He did a really good job for us. I want to personally thank him for that.
He does a really good job, and he's got a really good channel. You know, I do like his channel.
Yeah, definitely go check them out. Go subscribe to them. If you are in Quayside, subscribe to them and let them know that Cruising with Keys sent you there. And if you are in my side and Traveling with Tinkerbell, let them know that Traveling with Tinkerbell sent you there. Give them a little hello from our side, and just say thank you for the information that he sent. I think it was great. And with that information that he sent, let's go with Around the Port, because I'm going to be talking about some of those places he actually set on there. So here we go. All right, so guys, let's talk a little bit about what to do around the Port of Sydney. And it was really cool, the different places you can go. And this is some information I can provide for you at the Port of Sydney. Cruise ships of all lines dock in the Sydney at 2 locations, each of which can accommodate 1 vessel at a time. Overseas passengers terminal, circular quay, mainly for all tall ships which cannot fit under the harbor bridge, in the prime position opposite of the Sydney Opera House. This terminal is right in the city, so it depends where you're going to be location at. The public transportation options that they have is they have a bus number 431. It drops you off at the George Street outside of the Opt precinct. The Circular Quay train station is located a 3-minute walk to the Opera building. A Circular Quay ferry station is also located a 3-minute walk on the Opera building. The Winter train station is located 783 to the opposite precinct. Taxis available from George Street is in front of the Opera precinct. So you have a lot of stuff there that if you want to take to different places on there. One of the cool things that I said is the best option to reach the White Bay is by taxi, private transfer, like a shuttle or something like that, or drive and leave your car at Wilson's long-term car park. Captain's Cook Cruises has installed in a 2015 First Sydney Harbor mobile passenger terminal pontoon, which allow cruise passengers to take the charter ferry a 15-minute ride from the city to White Bay. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, then you can do that with Captain's Cruises. The Sydney Airport is located 17 kilometers, which is 11 miles around, a 30-minute drive from the White Bay. Some cruise lines operate their own airport shuttles and contact, somebody to get you into that information if you need more information. If we're going to talk about sightseeing Sydney, Sydney is a definite stop, and just about any cruise that travels down under, and often serves a starting or ending point for ships that also travel to New Zealand. It is the largest city in Australia, and while many of the nation's cultural and financial institutions are located in Sydney, the city real draws in their dramatic natural scenery. So just to give you a little bit about some information here, I actually grabbed, this is what the Opera House looks like in Sydney. And I'm going to give you some information. If you take a tour of the world's famous Sydney Opera House, there are a handful of varieties, backstage, historic, and what is called the Tour of Force for travelers with special interest in architectural, engineering, or the arts. Guided tours are conducted between 8:30 in the morning and 5 p.m. daily. Of course, scheduling permitting, travelers can also be taken in a show. So could you imagine yourself, guys, ever porting here and seeing this beautiful opera house? This is one of the places where everybody loves to check it out. Another place that people like to see is the Sydney Harbor Bridge. The best way to see the harbor is to get a bird's eye view from the top of the harbor bridge in the Sydney Harbor Bridge climb. Not your ordinary stroll across the bridge. It is not just for the young and crazy. The 3.5-hour trek up down to the famous landmark is safe, slow, and suitable for people of all ages and fitness levels. You'll don a bridge suit to wear a bridge harness along the ladder, like stairways and narrow catwalks. The climbs are guided tours are offered during the day as well as at night, and there's lots of rules and regulation, including no kids under 10, and children aged 10 to 16 must be accompanied by an adult. No woman than more than 24 weeks pregnant. Climber must wear rubber sole shoes, and all climber must pass a breathing test for a blood alcohol limit no less than 0.05%. From the bridge, visitors can walk around the inlet to the tour and always crowded Opera House. It's easily to continue from there through the Royal Botanical Gardens, a collection of flowers and trees overlooking the water, where it is possible to see some of Australia's unique flora without having to leave the city. So as you can see, that's a bridge that you do not want to miss if you're ever going into the Sydney area. The mass transit options abound. The circular quay trains are a stop across the terminal and easily accessed. If we're going to talk a little bit about the Darling Harbor, this is what the Darling Harbor looks like. And I do apologize for I don't know why the pictures, it looks great on my end. I don't know if it looks, but it looks different on yours. It's reachable within 35 minutes. It's a 1.6-mile walk distance from the dock at Circular Quay, or 10 to 20-minute driving depending on the traffic. From the White Bay Terminal, it takes only 5 to 10 minutes drive to get to the Darling Harbor. This waterfront destination is home of some of Sydney's major attractions, including Wildlife Sydney Zoo, the Sea Life Sydney Aquarium, Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, and Australian National Maritime Museum, Paramount Bridge, and others. I do have a picture here of the Sydney Zoo. And I also have some pictures here of the Sydney Life Aquarium. And this is what the entrance of the place looked like. Something that if you don't want to visit all these places and maybe you want to check out the beach, you could check Bondi Beach. And a little bit about the Bondi Beach, the closest ocean beach to the center of Sydney. Bondi Beach has some become synonymous with Sydney beach lifestyle. And it's a very popular with tourists, day trippers, backpackers, residents of all Sydney siders. Hunters Valley's wine tour, situated of the north side of Hunters Valley, is one of Australia's major wine region. Just in case if you want to go by there, it's closer to Bondi Beach as well. And with the winemaking tradition dating back in the early 1800s, this region is some of the largest numbers of winery, including the world's renowned brand of family-run wine cellar offering vineyards and wine tasting. So yeah, so imagine all these cool places to check out while you're there in Sydney. If you wanted to just do shopping and food, options in Sydney include central areas at Pitt Street Mall, downtown of the Castle Street, from the Hunter Street of the Goulburn Street, from Chi-Chi's designer stores, also includes the Affirmation of Rocks of Darling Harbor, Oxford Street, and Five Ways of the Paddington. Sydney also have an excellent collection of weekend outdoors market. They hold a version of every Saturday, while Bondi hosts a market each Sunday. Open for holiday hours, shops and services are generally open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and until lunchtime on Saturdays. In cities or larger towns, many shops stay open late and Thursday and Friday night evening, usually until 9 p.m. and all day on Saturday. Shopping malls are often open Sundays as well. In remote country areas, roadhouses providing the essential services of the traveler and on major highways are generally open 24 hours a day. In tourist areas, even ones off the beaten track, tourist offices are often openly every day, at least through the week. Plus weekends morning, urban information centers are also likely to confirm for normal shopping hours. So guys, there you guys have that information. Hopefully it helped you out. And I'm going to go ahead and pass you over to Keith, which he's going to talk a little bit about different types of excursions. Sorry.
Thank you. I was muted. I actually forgot to read you guys something off before earlier. My apologies. From earlier, usually I read this whole thing off. I totally forgot to read it to you guys. I hid it behind my laptop. So welcome to the port of Sydney, Australia. Before I start, to give you an idea, our summer is their winter, our fall is their spring. So always remember that. So if you go there, actually in December and January, it's going to be hot there. If you go there like in August, it's going to be a little bit chilly there. So that's one thing to let everybody know right now. As the weather today was a high of 59, low 50, and I mean that today as in Thursday, because right now it's actually Thursday over there. And yeah, the minimum wage is 23 an hour, and that's 15.48 USD. And there are no cruise ships right now at the port, and the gas prices is $2.06 a liter, and that's in Australian money. So let me get to these excursions, which I'm going to bring up for everybody right now on the screen. So let's get this going. Sydney, let's actually start with this one on top. Oh, there you go. I was looking for it. I knew there was one. This is, we got mixed up. Okay, so this is a half-day Sydney highlight with a Bondi Beach, Watson. You know, it was actually tough to find like some beach excursions out there, which you know which is crazy. You know, I mean, I know because Sydney. I mean, obviously, I never been to Australia, so I don't know. The first thing I think of when I think of Australia, I think of kangaroos. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Kangaroos, the outback, you know, all that wilderness. So basically, it's $168 a person, right? So so you have it's a 4.5 hour shore excursion. It includes Watson Bay and Bondi Beach. You get to see the ocean, the Gap at Darling Point. Visit Royal Botanical Gardens at Centennial Park. Explore Sydney neighborhoods like Rush Carter's Bay, King Cross, and let me try this. Wooloo. Okay. I don't know. I know. Hopefully I said it right. Please, Sean, if you watch this, let me know if I said it right. Yeah, so this is actually a really good excursion. It's not bad. You know, you get to visit beaches. They're gonna pick you up if you're at any of the hotels over there. Now, all these excursions are private excursions that I put up here for everybody. So I don't have the short excursions and what to expect. You just get some rocks. So you may want to make sure you have some comfortable feet on here. So let's get up to the next excursion. Right? Let me share this for everybody. Okay. And this is a small group tour. All right, $184 a person. Yeah, so remember you can cancel or call up this company, which you know this company just should you know, but well actually let me show you guys some pictures that they have here, which I should have done. Oh, did you see that? Look at that rainbow. That's beautiful. That's actually a really beautiful rainbow, everybody. Whoever took that picture, great job. And you know, so this is actually a really nice excursion. What's included: national park fees, lunch, driver's guide, entry fees to Feathers and Wildlife, and they're gonna pick you up. They start at 7:30, and you know it's a 1 hour admission fee ticket. So you know it's a pretty decent excursion to do. Only thing that for some reason it's not showing how long it is, but it shouldn't be that long of an excursion for everybody here. But this is something that you may want to be interested in seeing. Let's see. Oh, so you're gonna see some kangaroos. Those are some beautiful sceneries that you will definitely see here. So let's get to the next one. And I have a lot. I also have some restaurants to show everybody. So, and then we will get onto it. So let's get. Oh, I almost put the rest. Okay, so this is the next one. Is Sydney Shore Excursion at the Sydney Opera House tour, walking tour. So you already heard about the Opera House from Sean, but I just want to put it out here so maybe you guys could see some photos. Not a lot. Actually, like a nice little place to actually maybe get some pizza, wine, lunch, you know. And you know what? The price is a very reasonable price at $30 a person. So yeah. So that's actually a very pretty cheap price because a lot of times you see me do these excursions. Okay, here it's a 1 hour excursion. They could pick you up. So this is actually a perfect excursion to do if you're going on a cruise, right? So you're on there on the cruise. Yeah, usually at ports 6 to 8 hours, sometimes 10. So, but usually like 6 to 8 hours, and it's an hour. So you go there, boom, you do it, and then after you're done with it, you could go hang out, or maybe you stay at the opera house for a little bit longer and eat or have a couple more drinks over there. If you drink, if not, you could still have time to walk around the port. But like I always say, if a lot of us on here live in the United States, Canada, over here. So doing a cruise from over there, it's a long plane ride. It's like a 20+ hour plane ride. But I would like to try it one time, because it's like one of those bucket list one of those bucket list cruises. But if I did a cruise from there, I would do the cruise from there that ends in California. So at least my plane ride back isn't as bad. So this is actually Sydney. Okay, so here's something to expect. So take a tour of Sydney Opera House takes you in some of the world's most iconic performance venues, where more than 1,500 concerts play musical ballet stage every year. So this is definitely a really, really good excursion, and you're definitely you're getting your money's worth with this one for only $30. Then we got one more to do, and then I'm gonna bring in the restaurants. I got two this time, so I really okay. So this is a Blue Mountain private tour, Blue Mountain Wildlife. So let's bring this. I don't care about the cookies. Only cookies I want is like milk and cookies. All right. Okay, let's get some photos for everybody. Oh, whatever. I don't know why it's not coming up. Let's see. Yeah. All right, finally. Oh, sure. Something wrong with this website. Got a little slow over here. Okay. So yeah. So you got some really beautiful scenery on this one, and this is for the group. It's about $416, but for the group. So you go with 4 people. It's a decent tour. Let's see the length of it. It's So this is a tour that I would do if you're there in Australia for like not you're there on your cruise. Maybe if your cruise is the next day, you do the tour the day before, right? If you get to Australia the day before. So okay, so I do have actually. So you can enjoy a private day full tour from Sydney to the Blue Mountains, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, admire the scenic Jameson Valley. I doubt that's the drink. 3 Sisters Rock Formation, have lunch in the quaint village of Liruna, explore the rainforest at Scenic World. So this is a pretty good tour, but it's not cheap. So it is expensive, but it's something that you may want to try, and but you can always maybe try to find your own way there, also on your own. But at least I'm giving you guys these ideas, and maybe you could do your own research on this tour, and maybe you can even find yourself maybe some even cheaper tours. So that's it for the excursion part. But now I'm going to bring up some restaurants, and okay, so we're still good. So let me bring up these 2 restaurants, and then and then we'll come back. So let's go for all you seafood people. All right, so here's the Sea Rock and Grill. I mean, you can see the food. It looks really good. The drinks look like they actually made those drinks look like they're like really, really good drinks that they made. Oh, you got some of that stuff. So see what they even have. Looks like is that like a porterhouse steak, or yeah, it's coming from that. So that's the one thing you guys watch out, like when you go to other countries, there'll be food that they have in these other countries that they normally wouldn't have here. I'm assuming you may even be able to eat like kangaroo out there. For example, like if you go to some of these places, you can eat ostrich over there, right? So you can see different things on the menu. Also, in the United States, you see different things on the menu all around the United States that are different. Like you go down south, some places will serve you like alligator or as a crocodile, something like that. Okay. So let's get to the next restaurant. It's called the Quay Restaurant, and I'm gonna get that for you right now. And then that will be the end of the food. I mean, you can't go anywhere without having some food, right? I mean, should I make a prank reservation? They probably wouldn't be too happy. Yeah, that's the menu. Let's see. They got some stuff here. I mean, it made pictures. Anything? Let's see if I could pull up a menu for you guys, and that's about it. If they have a menu. Okay, here we go. The old one had pictures, so you can see it. 6 course, 8. Oh, wow. I don't like this website, but 8 course wild black. So, yeah, so isn't that sweet? Oh my God! I just randomly picked the place. 8 course meal, almost $350. Wow. Okay, so that's it for the other restaurants, everybody. Think about you could come back in. Whoo! You see the price on that?
But I think you're paying mainly for that view, probably, because you saw the view. That's crazy. That view.
I know them. Them. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna get this to everybody right now. So it's $355 USD to exchange rate. Right here we go. So in the United States style, that comes out to $236. So that's what it is.
Okay, that's not that bad.
So per person, but it's an 8 course meal. It's not like.
But not only that, look at the view that you're going to be having dinner, and it's like one of those things that you do once in a lifetime. It's not like if you're going to be there. Well, unless you live over there in Sydney, that's a different story.
Yeah. Whew.
That's expensive, but
I changed the background in the middle of the show. I just wanted to see if anyone knows this.
Oh my God. But that was a good, that's some good information you provided there. I was putting a lot of notes while people, where you were doing your stuff, like, the different places that you showed us and all that. There's a lot of great, Viator is a great place to buy your excursion. But like I was saying, just keep in mind that these excursions that you purchase through Viator or TripAdvisor or whoever, even Expedia Cruises, keep in mind that those excursions are outside of the cruise, that you have to make sure that you're back in time.
Yeah, so I'll say the cruise lines don't just put up there, except for NCL, I think. But the other cruise lines, sometimes NCL will show it, but most cruise lines, you can't just go online and look at the excursion. That's why the one time one of the ports I was able to do Carnival because I was already booked at that island. So if we're booked there, then I could get it from my current cruise that's there.
Right.
But
it's just the trip alone, like that's like a bucket list trip, first off.
Yeah, that's definitely a bucket list. Like I have like 3 bucket list cruises, right? Two, my wife says yes. This one, obviously, she's like, no, that's too far, right? Maybe one day, but bucket list cruises go on this cruise, Alaska cruise, and a cruise from Italy. Those are like the but if I do an Italy one, I want one that does like Italy, Greece, But if I'm doing a long one from over there, then I would love to get the whole Mediterranean in one shot,
Right.
But that'd be like a month-long cruise. But you know how many ports you'd be going to? I mean, that's the only thing that drives me crazy about those cruises that go from there. It's like I look at them, it says, 7-day cruise, 6 ports. I'm like, do you even have a day to yourself?
Well, actually, I'm glad that you brought that up because if you want to hit one of those bucket list cruise, I do have a group on Celebrity Ascent for $46.71 for 2 people. You get 4,671. You get 2 people, port taxes, fees. It's okay. 2 people, port taxes and fees, drink package and Wi-Fi. And that one is an 8-day. It leaves out of Rome and ends in Barcelona, and you go through Italy, all that area in Italy. So you get to see all of that cool stuff. Just to let you guys know, if you're interested, and that's through Celebrity Cruises. You're not going to get
What's the
that
date?
price anywhere else.
What's the date on it?
It's June 6th of 2024. 2025, I'm sorry,
Well, I
2025.
was like June
June 6th.
6th. I'm like, did you come back?
It's from June 6th to the 14th. I think it's an 8-day. It's an 8-day cruise, and it's on the brand new Celebrity Ascent. And it's a really good price for
Yeah.
$4,671 for two people. That's with,
Yeah,
obviously you
yeah.
have to pay your flights, but
No. Yeah.
and it's a balcony suite as well. So it's not like an interior or an ocean view. That's a balcony edge veranda. I have some on deck 7, 8, and 9. And yeah, I think it's a really good price. If you were to purchase that trip right now, it'll be like maybe you're looking at about a cool $8,000, $9,000.
Yeah. Especially on Celebrity, it's a little bit more expensive.
Right.
But I mean, eventually we do want to try this Celebrity cruise ship. Obviously we're trying to figure out options. I know in one point next year we are going to do an NCL cruise. We just don't know when. So that's also another
Yeah.
thing.
So do you have any announcements, or that's the only announcement that you have?
I need 22 hours. That's it.
Well,
Oh.
my only announcement was that the Celebrity Ascent, and that we're having a group cruise next year on Carnival
Yeah.
Celebration April 2025. Those are my only
Well,
announcements.
I'm going on the celebration in 109 days, and currently right now next year I have no cruises booked, but I'm looking at cruises in the beginning of the year and another one like right maybe at the end of the summer, or maybe a
Right.
little bit after.
I
You know?
also my
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
You know what it is? It's so tough to. The reason why it's tough to go away from Carnival is because they give me such great deals. Like I could literally get like a balcony room with the drinks included, $200 onboard credit for $500.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Carnival is always the cheaper way to go, but they also
Yeah,
give good, especially if you're doing casino. They have some great
casino.
deals, casino, for
Uh,
sure. No, but I was gonna say
Yep.
the other only announcement that I have is next week. You guys gonna have to wait until Tuesday to check out my big announcement. I was gonna do it yesterday, but I couldn't. So we're gonna have to wait until next Tuesday
Oh,
for that big announcement.
oh yeah.
Unless you
I
can
probably
figure out what ship it is, because it's blurred, but maybe you can figure it out.
actually I might have. Actually, I do have another announcement. Thanks for reminding me. I have my next series of vlogs should be out within the next couple of days, and I should have the full ship tour, which I'm almost done with the audio part of the editing. And once I'm done with that part, I have to do the music. So I'm almost done with all that. So I think by Sunday the latest, I will have both those videos out. Obviously, I'm not gonna have them come out the same day, but the vlog will be out first, which is going to be Aruba and Bonaire, because I didn't do too much in Bonaire because we just stood by the port that day. We were tired, so we actually woke up late. But so that's gonna be day. What day is that? Day 1 and 2. Then you had 3. So that should be day 4 and day 5.
All right. So I think we're done for today on our live stream. If you guys
Where we
have any
go?
questions, go
Yeah,
ahead.
where we going next week?
That's a good question. Where are we going next week?
Are
Hold
we
on.
going to Asia? I know we're going to Asia soon.
Let me see where are we going next week. Give me a second. Next week is gonna be okay. We did catch a can. Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Tokyo is next
That's
week.
gonna be tough, especially if you know, to be real tough. If I pick a restaurant, I go to their website and it's all
Mhm.
in Asian. I'm gonna be like, we got pictures. That's gonna be
I
the
don't
tough
know.
part.
I have a feeling I'm going to have a lot of like crazy words that I'm not even going to understand. But we're going to Tokyo.
Yeah, the Tokyo Drift.
I know, right? Bye, MTN Living and Cooking. Thank you so much for being here. Love you
Bye.
guys. Thank you. But yeah, guys, well, next week we'll be in Tokyo. So I'll see you guys all next week in Tokyo. Have yourself a great evening. I love you guys all to the moon and back. And thank you so much for keep coming back to the show every week.
Yep.
We appreciate all of you guys for doing that. Thank you so much for the Down Under. So for sending us that video.
Yeah.
We love you
Oh yeah,
too.
definitely. Thank you.
A big hug from Keith and I. And hasta next week. I see you guys later. Toodles. Love you guys.
Tokyo.
I see you guys. Love you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Toodles.